I think that it blows my mind how many women fail to realize that they control the intimacy in their relationships at like 80 to 90%.
Right.
When you guys are off, everything else in the relationship doesn't sit right.
Mm-hmm. I would say I am also the leader of how days would go. Like when I am off, you're off.
Yes.
And I'm not even bitchy about it. Like I'm not trying to be a hurricane and ruin anybody's day. It's just you can tell when I'm not myself and it affects your mental state.
Do you think that's because I pay attention and I'm attentive? Or do you think that's just normal for all men? Because you know how many people are like...
I think it's because you pay attention and you know how to read me.
You know how many people on our TikTok videos will say shit like, he noticed that she was off and stopped the conversation and addressed it, and it's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think that I was doing anything special. I could tell things weren't right. I'm trying to fix it. Like, that doesn't seem like a crazy thing to me, but I'm also not a woman, and I've never had to date a dude, so...
I would say it's not as common as you think it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, that's my perspective, right? Because we talk about that all the time, too. Your perspective is your reality. So in my reality, all other men are like me because that's how I live my life. I know there's scumbags out there, but I give most men the benefit of the doubt. And I know that that's wrong. I've had to dial that shit back. But it's crazy that, like, when somebody first said that, I was like, is this, like, not normal? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of ways that I lead in this relationship to where if you were to take over, it would be...
a disaster.
It would be, yeah. It would definitely be... It would fall apart.
Say it for what it is. I know it would.
Yeah, there's things in that... you can do it. You can do everything that I do in the household, but you'll be fucking miserable. You'll have no hobbies. You won't have any aspects of your life that you enjoy because you're taking on the role of what should be a team.
Right. Do you know how drastically I would have to alter my life in order to take over all the things that you do while still doing what I'm doing? That teamwork effort that we put in makes all of this work as a cohesive unit. You know what I mean? Like we're two cogs and our wheels are perfectly lined up. If you disappeared, everything else is just going to kind of fall by the wayside. I can't stress that enough. People are like, oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. You provide so much value by being a stay-at-home wife and doing the things that you're doing that allows me to do those other things. I would have to have a whiteboard that is laid out with schedules written on it and like alerts in my phone because things wouldn't get done. I would miss garbage days, even though that's my job and I do that very well. I have to keep in mind of what day it is. I know that we go live Sundays on Patreon. So the Patreon live days is my garbage day. And that's how I correlate that. So I have all these little things in my head about how I need to schedule my life around while still running a business, taking care of the podcast, the editing, Discord, yada, 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 yada. I couldn't do it. Our life the podcast would have to go. There's no way that I'd be able to keep up with editing, computer, and all that nonsense. We would have like a 1 episode a week kind of situation if I had to take over and like do all that shit. Don't talk like that.
Okay.
Yeah, please don't do that to me.
I'm sorry. I can tell you're actually getting stressed out.
Because I know how much you do.
Yeah.
And I know how much I do. Like, and I don't take what you do for granted. You don't take what I do for granted, which is why we have gratitude towards each other. I'm fucking grateful for the things that you do in the house. You thank me all the time for everything. I know that you're grateful for me too, but the idea of having to step back into that role of doing everything, I don't want that. It's not worth it. I lived like that. I was fucking miserable.
Right.
I didn't mean to steal your show.
It's okay. I love you.
I love you too.
I don't remember where I was going.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
My point is leadership roles in the relationship. And people want to say that you're this overbearing, you have all of the power, I have no say in our relationship. There are multiple things where if you came into the house and say, this is how you're cleaning the floors now, you're now using this product and you have to change the days you're doing it, back the fuck up.
Right.
I have my schedules for cleaning. What is your reasoning for trying to dictate how I manage our household? That would definitely be a challenged conversation right there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm autistic. I also don't do well with change.
Yeah, I don't do well without a routine.
Yeah.
Me handing things over to AJ, like I handed over all the video editing And because things didn't get done as fast as I thought they would get done, I stepped back in and took back over. I have it's almost obsessive compulsive the way that I do things. And I need to know that things are done and scheduled and like all my ducks in a row, because if I procrastinate and things are not ready to go a week before they need to, I panic and stress out like, oh God, I only have a week to get this done. You know what I mean? And when I get close to the deadlines of things, I really freak out and I don't do well with that. So that routine is necessary for me. And I think that's another reason why we mesh so well together, because we're like, okay, it's Monday. This is what has to be done.
Yeah.
Workout, yoga, cardio, you know what I mean? Like bank runs. Yeah. Yep. We do definitely thrive in that. Both of us do.
Yeah. I need a sense of direction in life. I can't just
Wing it.
be meandering around and hoping something good falls in my lap.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm just going to fuck off. Oh, that just gives me anxiety.
Yep.
I need structure and balance and self-care.
So when it comes to the trustworthiness or the confidence in me to lead the way that you've allowed me to lead, because like I said earlier, this very much is you have graced me with the final decision making. For those women who want what we have and want the traditional relationship and are new to this because they've never met a man that is capable of leading, or they've been taught their entire lives that men are untrustworthy dogs, or whatever the situation is, what were things that you looked at in me that made you go, okay, box checked. Okay, I think I can trust him to lead the household. Oh yeah, I'm definitely submitting and letting him lead.
So box being checked, that made me more gravitated towards you. You're a man of your word. I've never seen you go back on your word. You are early to scheduled events. You have respect for other people's time. You are someone who is meticulous with their finances. What else?
The time thing got to you, huh?
Why? Yeah.
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 Not why.
Yes, it did. I am somebody, if I am early, I'm on time. If I'm on time, I'm late.
Yeah.
I get very anxious when I know I need to be somewhere. I will probably get there 20 or 30 minutes early.
I heard somebody say today on a YouTube video, there is no excuses for responsibilities. And I think that's the way they phrased it. Basically, dude came in late. He had a flat tire. He had to change his tire on the interstate. And when he got there, the guy was like, whoa, slow down. And he told him that. And he's like, damn, he's absolutely right. Because I have the responsibilities. There's no reason for me to be late. I could have left a half hour earlier and I wouldn't have been late. I'm that guy. If I know I have to be somewhere at 5 o'clock and it's going to take me 15 minutes to get there, I'm leaving 45 minutes early and I will sit in the fucking parking lot and play on my phone.
Yep.
Because I don't want to show up there and be like, hey man, sorry I'm late, because it makes me look undisciplined. So the fact that that's a thing for you makes me feel good, because I kind of pride myself on that.
Yeah. What else? I had another one. Oh, the way that you're respectful to people.
What do you mean?
So there was a moment where there was a customer complaint about something. They came in and you guys were having a face-to-face discussion about it. He was being very irrational.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about
Things, and you handled yourself very well. I could tell that you were becoming frustrated.
Oh, I was
and agitated.
fucking heated.
I could tell, but you were still very professional. You weren't becoming angry or raising your voice or being defensive. The fact that you can control your emotions the way that you do in moments of tension or frustration or anger, especially with someone who is very clearly in their emotional state, says a lot about who you are as a man. It shows a lot of restraint and discipline. Yeah.
I wanted to choke the fucking life out of that guy.
I know. He did great.
Yeah, I remember that day. Oh boy was very in his feelings.
Yeah.
He's a big fucker too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never heard you call a woman a derogatory name in a disagreement.
You know, I recently started saying bitch. Not like in a derogatory manner, but like, ooh, bitch.
Yeah.
And like, I never talked like that. I don't know where it came from or why it started, but I've noticed myself doing it every once in a while. And I think it's because you've done it. But it bothers me
that you do that.
That I do it, because when I do it, I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, that's a derogatory thing.
Yeah.
That's like calling a special needs kid the R word. Like, you can't do that anymore. This isn't the 80s. You got to stop.
Right.
But you're right. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm. I have never heard you speak ill on somebody from your past and they being the sole source of an issue in your life. You've always had accountability. What else checked my boxes?
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Okay.
Because while you're thinking about it, also Nicole's about to drop off money at some point, so I may have to step out. But
okay,
when it comes to that accountability with people from your past and being able to own your shit, that's how we grow. We talk about this all the time on the podcast. I just want to reiterate for those of you who are listening or watching, if you go on a date with somebody and you're talking about their previous relationships and the other person in the relationship is always the problem, that should be a huge red flag for you.
Red flag.
That should be a put your phone down, really start listening to what's being said, because he or she has got a fucking problem, and that is their lack of accountability.
Yeah.
There's always something that you can learn from past relationships, things that you could have done differently to have gotten a better outcome, no matter how bad the relationship was. And I'm not saying that you're at fault. I'm saying that you have accountability. There are things that you could learn and be better. And in that scenario, you could have been like, well, if I would have just done this, then this, and this wouldn't have happened, which ultimately led to this. Mm-hmm. You may have to back way the fuck up to get to that point, but you can find it.
Yeah.
And I don't surround myself with people who throw shade and blame at everyone.
Yeah, I don't do the gossip Mean Girls Club bullshit.
Yeah. If they gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. Mm-hmm. But I won't keep people in my circle that can't own their shit.
Yeah.
If they're telling me a story about how somebody did them dirty and they can't throw in something like, well, I did do this so I can understand that. Like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I just don't want you around me.
I agree with that. I think that's why our circle is so small.
It is. It is, because I don't trust people. And I expect people around me to not come out with their hand out. Mm-hmm. And we get a lot of that, unfortunately. Yeah. So
another thing that checked my box when it came to you, you were very upfront about your flaws.
What do you mean?
So you didn't hide the fact that you have BPD. You admitted the things that you've done wrong in your past, the people you've done dirty. I'm sure there's things I still don't know, but really, like, there was no stone left unturned by the time that we started getting serious, because you were upfront about all of the things from your past.
That comes with acceptance.
Yeah.
Right? Because I could make excuses for every wrongdoing I've ever done. Mm-hmm. It's not going to change anything. I've accepted my past. Everything that I've lived through has gotten me to this moment.
Yeah.
And I like who I am in this moment. Mm-hmm. I like what I have in this moment. I like where the future looks like it's going in this moment. God has given me a lot. Mm-hmm. I have been blessed, and I am fucking grateful for it. And if I wouldn't have had all of those shortcomings and all those failures and all the times that I've had mud on my face, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have learned those lessons, and I wouldn't be where I am.
Right.
So it's very easy for me to talk about all that shit because there's not a layer of guilt.
Mm-hmm. I get that. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that, found it entertaining, funny, or even learned something you didn't know before, share it. And if you're not subscribed, why aren't you? And for those of you who want to support us, get access to exclusive content and live streams, we do have a Patreon. All the links are in the description.